a boost? Try Beyond Raw Lit, a clinically dosed pre-workout that gives you more energy, more focus, intensity, and pumps. Plus, it's got incredible flavors and thousands of 5-star reviews. Pick it up at GNC stores or go to gnc.com.
Dan Graziano on Derek Carr just now intentionally gave us a whole lot of nothing, which means everything. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of gray area about a starting quarterback in the NFL right now in Derek Carr. As NFL Network reported that his shoulder is an issue. Graz said there was conversations about his contract with the Saints and whether or not he was going to be released. They ended up restructuring it. He may not be healthy enough to play. Other people are saying, including Louis Riddick over the weekend, our ESPN NFL analyst, hey, the draft kind of starts at 9. It's muddy. I could not sit here and tell you, even after talking with Dan for 10 minutes, what exactly is going on with Derek Carr and the Saints. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure, based on what Dan said, that they're definitely going to take a quarterback at 9.
Well, prior to this Derek Carr news, they should have been thinking quarterback anyway, based on his contract and the output that you've gotten from him. You know that the end of the road was near with Derek Carr because he was likely gone after this season anyway. You need somebody for the future, and you need somebody at that position to be more productive. And they've been obviously checking out the quarterback market. So yes, this should provide them with a little bit more of a sense of urgency if Derek Carr is not going to be available to them. But I don't think it's a shock that they were thinking this direction anyway.
Yeah, I think New Orleans was in the quarterback business. Now, does that mean they were going to take a quarterback in the top 10 versus waiting until later in the draft? I don't know, but now they've got to have a little more urgency about it. And I think there's a reason why we've seen the betting odds shift. Before this Derek Carr news, the New Orleans Saints were plus 175 to take a quarterback. Now the odds have shifted to minus 145 to take a quarterback with the 9th overall pick. So heavy favorites to take a quarterback. Now, who that quarterback ends up being, I don't know. Now, Ev, you've intimated that it could end up being Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders with this as the second quarterback in this year's class taken.
It's not crazy.
It's not crazy. It's still a possibility.
It's right, but it's not crazy.
And so I do think that there will be more and more volume turned up on that conversation as well. But I think it's absolutely fascinating what happens, not just with the New Orleans Saints at 9, but other teams that are looking to take a quarterback in the first round of this year's draft, not named Tennessee.
Is there an opportunity here, though? Just thinking aloud. Is there any team in the NFL where you think they could be horrifically bad this year, get the number 1 pick, and nothing happens to the head coach? Teams that you would say are in consideration to be bad this year, okay? New York Giants.
Yeah.
If they're terrible, their head coach is out.
Toast.
Mm-hmm. Let's just go in the, Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
No,
other way.
Oh, you think he'll get fired?
Yeah, he wasn't hired by the general manager.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He wasn't hired by him. That's a good call.
Mike Bogosian didn't take him.
Let's say Arizona is terrible, just for argument's sake. Coach is gone. Right? Coach is gone, I would think. Are there any other team? Here's my point. Cleveland. I don't think they're going to be this terrible. I don't think they're going to be terrible. And I think Stefanski's good, but I think he'd be gone if they're that terrible.
If they're awful, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, again, I don't know if we put them in the same bucket, but if the Cowboys are bad, we could see Brian Schottenheimer being one and done, right?
Okay. Yes. If New Orleans is terrible, I think Kellen Moore is going to be their coach next year.
He will.
Is there an opportunity here?
Awful for Arch, but down south version? Sorry, CC?
So you're saying New Orleans trade back and let somebody else
No,
get a quarterback?
what I'm saying is,
or take the best available.
why? What are they trying to do? We talk about teams that are blah in no man's land. What is this team trying to do? The sense that I just got from Graz is Derek Carr and the Saints were not 100% sure about each other, so they restructured here. Carr may not have wanted to do that. Carr's now hurt with a shoulder injury.
But here's the part that I don't get. Like why? I mean, I guess I don't know why even allow the Saints to put themselves in a position where they can't get out of your contract moving forward? Why agree to be restructured?
Maybe he didn't have a say.
Maybe he didn't, and that's true. But if you let your intentions be known that you didn't want to be there, why would New Orleans then, in fact, unilaterally make that decision?
That I can't figure out for
that
the life
makes
of
no
me.
sense.
I don't understand that either. And it doesn't make it easier to trade.
Yeah, so if the two parties didn't agree and the Saints went ahead and did this on their own, which they might have baked into the contract, why would they do that?
I don't know.
if he doesn't want to be there?
Literally no idea.
They literally boxed themselves into a corner.
Yes.
And now they have to get out of it by potentially using the 9th overall pick to take a quarterback that they were never intending on taking.
And yet there may be an opening because they may benefit by being bad. And oh, by the way, they don't see it this way. I do. They have pieces that other teams would want that I think would be really interesting to trade off.
I don't look at it that way, though, man. I honestly think that Shedeur Sanders would be a great fit for what they got going on in New Orleans.
I agree.
But after talking to Graz, do you think they're going to take Shedeur?
I don't think it's
it's
off the board.
I'm
yeah.
not saying it's off the board. I'm not more confident after talking to Graz about this. And he didn't say yes or no.
Well, they're going to need a quarterback.
Yeah. As Grass says, the ball will just keep rolling after the center snaps.
Yeah, and they've been doing due diligence on this class of quarterbacks. I mean, I can't imagine that they're comfortable if Derek Carr, in fact, has to have surgery, that they're going to go into the season with Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler. Not to say that you didn't see good things from Spencer Rattler at points in the season, but you look to upgrade the quarterback position, especially when you have a top 10 pick.
If we were going to do a no man's land draft of NFL teams, are they the number one pick?
I don't know.
No. I wouldn't say they're no man's land draft. The Miami Dolphins.
That's a good one.
They're in more no man's land than
What the hell are
Saints?
the Miami Dolphins doing?
What about Jacksonville?
No, I can't. I'm irrational with that. I like until he retires, I'm probably not going to give up on Trevor Lawrence.
But what are the Miami Dolphins doing?
Well, I actually
What are the Indianapolis Colts doing?
That was my
that's
next
another
pick.
one.
That was my next pick.
Like there's plenty of teams on the board where you're like, man, what the hell are they doing? What is the plan?
Okay, so
What is the plan there?
What is the plan?
They have a hypothetical of what if Anthony Richardson is the guy that your sources told you before last season what he could be, not what he is, what he could be. All right, that's better than what the Saints have. What if Tua is healthy for a whole season and maybe they make progress there? At least I don't agree with the Dolphins' plan. I know what it is. I don't agree with. Well, actually, I don't even know what the Colts' plan is because I don't think their plan is actually Anthony Richardson.
Don't either.
That's not the plan.
I'm reasoning with that as the plan that they're not doing.
The Colts' plan is let's try to save our jobs.
Yeah.
Let's bring in Daniel
Daniel Jones?
Let's try to save our jobs.
We're hoping that residue in Minnesota, that little stint there, is going to pay some dividends.
I think the Saints are still the number one pick in the no man's land draft in the NFL. I really do.
Okay.
Dallas? Cleveland?
No, I kind of like. I could try to give you a plan. You could say I don't like it or I agree with it, but I feel like I could try to give it to you.
What's the Cleveland plan?
Okay, the Cleveland plan, is to build everything outside of the quarterback so they're ready for the quarterback whenever that person is ready for them, right? That their defense is going to be potentially good with Myles Garrett there, that Travis Hunter is going to be there as the face of the franchise along with Myles Garrett playing offense and defense, and that they're going to be a big, strong, physical football team like they've been, and all they need is just average quarterback play. And they feel between Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and maybe Kirk Cousins, they can get to that 16th to 20th best quarterback in the league. You may not like
heard that story before.
Yeah, I know.
It's a lot of hope in that plan. It's a lot of hope.
Okay, now give me the plan for the Saints. Because I can't do it. Can't do it. Can't even make an
Draft
attempt.
Shedeur. Look at that division as something that you can have in your favor.
Okay, draft Shedeur. Then guarantee yourself. Go trade with New England. Guarantee yourself you're going to get him.
Well, I think there's a possibility that happens.
Okay.
Now, I honestly think that the Saints are probably going to have to be in the business of moving up just because everybody else that's looking for a quarterback that's behind them is going to have to get up in order to get their pick of Jackson Dart or Shedeur Sanders.
Right.
So that's going to be a real thing.
If you tell me they're going to do that, I know what their plan is. If they're just going to wait for one of the quarterbacks, they may not get him.
I mean, listen, their plan could always be, you know what, we're going to take the best available with a top 10 pick and come back in the second round and get Jalen Milroe or Tyler Shuck or somebody of that ilk. They could always say that's our plan. We've got quarterbacks that have multiple quarterbacks on this roster that started games for us in 2024 that are relatively young guys themselves. We could go that route, bring in another developmental prospect, and in a year where our head coach is playing with house money because he ain't got to win games to save his job,
right,
we can give all of these guys a good, long, hard look with extended playing time and see which one is worth staying the course with when it comes to their overall development. That could be the plan. That could be the plan.
NBA playoffs starting right away here, coming up this week. If you want to go to games, CC has a way for you to do that.